Well, yeah, I mean, look, we started the day in one place. Things kind of went sideways in a number of directions, and we ended up back at the same place that we were yesterday. And so everything is on the table. But when we're talking about sort of non-tariff retaliation, it could be about restricting supply. It could be putting our own export duties on products. It could be energy and minerals. It could be broader than that. But certainly, you know, the strategic nature, particularly of critical minerals, makes it one of the more obvious targets, because the alternative for the United States to actually get it is from China. There's a certain amount that you can ship by rail, but by and large, you couldn't displace the 4 million barrels that we send to the United States in pipelines. But I would say it works on the other side of the bucket too. So the refineries in the Midwest and in the Gulf Coast are set up to use heavy crude. The United States doesn't produce much heavy crude. It's mainly light sweet crude. And so in order to displace Canadian crude from those refineries, you would basically have to retrofit them all, which would be tens of billions of dollars and probably 5 to 10 years of work. So I actually think the oil that's coming down here is pretty sticky, in the sense that I don't think it's displaceable. And so in that regard, I don't think the threat to Canada's producers in the oil sector is as significant as perhaps in other sectors. It's absolutely on the list, you know, of things that we could do, because you're right. Ethanol is coming into Canada. It is actually cheaper than Canadian options right now, in large measure because the Inflation Reduction Act actually provides some significant subsidies for biofuels in general.
Donald Trump has defended his use of tariffs and dismissed concerns about market volatility sparked by the global trade turmoil. Speaking to a gathering of business leaders in Washington on Tuesday, the US president said his trade policy was already showing results.
We have car companies that are not building in Mexico now. They're building in the United States. Some of them, the plants were already started and they stopped construction, and now they're going to build in the United States. It was very unfair. They'd build in Mexico and sell them across the border with no tax, no nothing.
In the audience were around 100 CEOs, and some of them may be feeling growing unease. They've all seen some $4 trillion wiped off the value of US stocks in recent weeks, amid fears over the impact of the trade war. Businesses have also been concerned by the volatility of the tariffs, which have been variously imposed and delayed, raised and lowered. On Tuesday there was more of that, with turmoil over duties on Canadian metals. Early in the day, Trump said he would double levies to 50%. He was responding to a move by the Canadian province of Ontario to impose its own tariffs on electricity supplied to America. Hours later, Ontario dropped the move, and Trump said US duties would stick at 25%. The fresh day of turmoil drove another down day for stocks, outweighing glimmers of hope over a Ukraine ceasefire. More big firms, including retailer Kohl's, also warned that the darkening economic outlook was hitting sales. In the end, the Dow Jones Index closed the day down another 1%. But if that worries Trump, it didn't show on Tuesday.
The tariffs are having a tremendously positive impact. They will have, and they are having.
Trump said his tariffs would generate a lot of money for the US and could be raised even higher in the days ahead.